Good morning, dear participants, dear friends, and welcome to session 8 of the online SSEHV Education and Human Values Program, online course 1, module 1. We are really happy to see everyone again, and today in our 8th session, after we have covered going through the philosophy of SSEHV Educare, also going through the 5 human values, and our last session, which was dedicated to character. Today, we're very happy to focus on a very beautiful session ahead, which is the topic of today's session, is the practical implementation of SSEHV Education and Human Values. So the practical implementation of SSEHV. And as we know, and we have seen throughout this program, SSEHV, the founder, his whole emphasis when we talk about SSEHV Educare is on its implementation, on bringing out from within. It's a practical program, it's a transformational program, and it is based on experience. So today our session will be very special in the sense that it's different to usually how we do it. We will have 5 members from our Institute of SSEHV Education of South Europe. We have 5 women today who will be presenting their experience with this program. And it's actually quite meaningful because today is International Women's Day. So our appreciation to all the women too as well who are here today. And of course, every man too. We are all here together in this journey. But yes, today will be 5 members of our team who will be presenting this very special session. And I'd like to start off myself. And what we will do is we will talk about how we implement SSEHV Education and Human Values in different contexts. Whether it is in a school, whether it is as an activity sometimes within the school, but as an extracurricular activity, but also outside the school. So for this, I will just share my screen in a moment. And you will see as soon as I share the screen that the image we have chosen to start off with is this beautiful ripple effect. Because we know that when we spread values, when we apply this program, truly it inspires all those around us. Of course, the first person who benefits from it is ourselves. We know this is a self-transformational program. So SSEHV can be applied in many different fields, in any context. Actually, any context is a perfect scenario to bring out human values in our daily lives, in our family lives, but also in the educational context, of course. So we saw this already in the philosophy of SSEHV Educare, but we saw that the program can be implemented through different ways. There is what we call the direct approach, which is when we develop and teach specific values-based lessons with a single focus on the human values. And we incorporate the 5 teaching techniques associated with this program. So in the next slide, I will talk about these 5 techniques, but it's important to say that the SSEHV International Organization, which is present in over 120 countries around the world, one of its main activities is actually to implement and to offer these education and human values classes to children in order to, and not just for children, but even sometimes, workshop for adults, but definitely these classes for children. And the teaching techniques we use are these 5 teaching techniques, which I will talk about in a moment. So this is when we have specific lessons dedicated and focused on the human values and bringing them out. But we also have the indirect approach or method, we say sometimes, which is when we integrate the human values into the existing school curriculum across different subjects. So not just having human values lessons, but also having the chance to integrate values in any other subject, whether it is math, science, and throughout the course we will see lots of different examples and more specific presentations on how we can do this. And there's also the co-curricular approach, which is when we adopt a value approach and enhance the practice of human values in any co-curricular activity. So this can be within the school context, but also many projects and initiatives outside the school. So we will see examples of all of these 3 today through our presenters. And I'd like to just start by, although we will have, when we go through module 2 of course 1, actually 5 of the sessions, 1 dedicated to each, will be to these 5 teaching techniques, which are namely silent sitting or meditation on the light, storytelling, universal prayers and quotations, group activities, and group singing. So as I said, later ahead in time, we will go through each one of them in depth. But I always like to say that maybe none of these practices as such is new to us. Of course, we know lots of teachers use these techniques, but what I find really magical, I always say this, magical about the SSEHV program is the powerful combination of these 5 techniques in one single lesson. It truly is very beautiful when we're able to do this with children. And as you may recall, I have the pleasure of working in a school. The subject I teach is actually education and human values. So I have the chance of applying the direct method in the sense that I use these 5 teaching techniques with the children in my weekly lessons on human values that I give them. So I won't go into a typical lesson plan, but I just wanted to share this image where when we did the value of peace, as you can see on the wall of this classroom, we have this quotation, "May the world live in peace and not in pieces." So we have a quotation. We had a group activity, 2 different group activities, where the children drew what peace looked like to them. But we had the puzzle of the world, and each in pairs they colored, it as a piece of the puzzle, and we put this together and we had different activities to talk about it. We always start with silent sitting or meditation on the light, and we also have a song. As you know, we've heard this song too, "May the world live in peace and not in pieces," which is inspired by Satya Sai's words too. So we integrate the song as well. And all of these techniques put together, and a story, which in a future session I will share with you. But all of these techniques put together, they really create a magical combination of students to understand the impact and how to bring out these values. And I also wanted to just share how values can also be integrated because we are talking about the practical implementation. In our school, I found that it's actually beautiful to integrate values in our school ethos itself. And many of these images you have seen when we have presented different topics, the image of the sun, the image of the iceberg, the tree. We see the ripple effect here and the rainbow too. And with our students, every single child in our school is very familiar with these 5 images, which represent different things. So for example, the sun, it represents the value of love in that sense, and how it is always available. It's always there to shine, even though they're clouds, they're just passing clouds, but love is always available. So we connect that to the sun. The iceberg is truly connected to the value of truth and how we really need to dive deep within to discover who we truly are. The tree is very much connected to the value of right conduct, right action, because when we are rooted in our spiritual hearts, when what we do, what we think, what we say is rooted in our spiritual hearts, then like this tree, lots of beautiful things blossom, and it really connects to this righteousness within. The rainbow relates a lot to the value of peace as well, because when, all colors are beautiful, but when they come together, this unity in diversity is truly, peace is all about oneness. And the ripple effect, we link it a lot to the value of nonviolence, because it's all about what is it that we want to spread in life. And when we understand the human values, when we manifest them, our attitude will be nonviolent and we spread goodness all around. So the image you can see here is, it's actually every year with one of the year groups in year 6, the 11 to 12-year-old students in the school I work at, Green Valley School, here in Palma de Mallorca. I forgot to say this, I'm actually in Happy Faces Kinder today, which is the other school. It's 2 sister schools, and this is the kindergarten school. And the mural we have at the back is one of the things the students did for Friendship Day. So yes, it's really beautiful how in our schools, whatever we do and integrate in the ethos, it somehow is also there creating an environment and culture of love. So the students reflect upon these images, they write about them, and it's really, really powerful to see how any child in our school really connects to these values and understands the importance of the images. And of course, depending on the age, we work on them at in different depths and different activities. And in future sessions, I will be able to share some more specific examples. Another thing that's very key to our school ethos here at Green Valley School and also in Happy Faces is the Head, Heart, Hands circuit, completely inspired by this program. And you may recall this image we saw from this artist Turcios. The children are very fond of it. It's part of our decoration. It's in many places of our school. And it really goes back to this tuning. And again, with different classes, we do different activities. We call this our human values circuit. And the students learn how to not just think with their heads and act with their hands, or sometimes react with their hands, but to really connect with our spiritual heart, to understand before we act, before we speak, is what I'm going to do truly grounded and rooted in the human values? Is it right for me, for the other person? Is it going to spread happiness for me and the other person and my environment? So it's beautiful to see how the students, as you can see here, each one of them drew the human value circuit of Head, Heart, Hands, what it represented for them. And they also wrote, it's very nice to walk around the corridors and see the students work on things like this. So after just sharing this short glimpse on how values can be practically implemented through the school ethos and in weekly lessons, it's now my pleasure to invite another member of our team, dear Esma, who will share her experience. Esma will tell you more about it, but I'm sure you will be very happy to hear about a series of 9 workshops that she gave very recently. Dear Esma, I'm really excited to hear you, and I'm sure others are too. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Raksha. And thank you for sharing this beautiful experience. It's always inspiring and uplifting to hear your valuable experience. Good morning, everyone. Raksha is fortunate to work in a school where values are valued, her children and colleagues even more so. But unfortunately, most schools around the world are faced with the growing issue of violence and bullying. Last year, thanks to one of our participants, Azra Shlivo, who made it possible, I was asked to do a human values workshop with a class of students aged 9, 10, because of the bullying problem, especially via mobile phones. As I was aware, bullying makes children feel excommunicated, not belonging, devalued, lonely, unhappy, sad, depressed. I thought that the best way to address this problem is by something opposite to bullying, yet meaningful to children and ideal to introduce other human values. And that was friendship. Friendship annuls those bad feelings and makes children feel accepted, valued, happy, belonging, boosts their self-confidence, and so on. So I created a set of 9 workshops around the value of friendship, which I will share a brief overview of during the next minutes. The aim of all of these workshops was to help children get back in touch with their heart, become aware of the values, of their importance, and that the heart is the source of their strength and happiness. Another aim was to get a solid compass on how to act and protect themselves and how to help their peers. The teachings I used are the 5 teaching techniques that Raksha has spoken and that the SSEHV Education Human Values Program teaches us and that were mentioned before. They are storytelling, singing, group activities, proverbs, quotes, and silent sitting. So, the first workshop dealt with the characteristics of a good friend and that you can and how you can learn to be one. It was meant to give them power back in their hands, to understand that they have a power to have a friend and be a good friend. The question is how. And this how was illustrated by a short yet powerful story, Two Wolves. An old Indian chief tells his grandson that we all have two wolves within us fighting all the time. A bad wolf, full of fear, hate, greed, selfishness, and a good wolf who is kind, generous, loving, patient, helpful, self-confident, and so on. The grandson exclaims, "Who wins, Grandpa?" And Grandpa answers, "The one you feed." This is a very powerful message, and they related to it in every workshops. They were given pieces of a train in an exercise to glue together, and then after discussion, decide what the most important characteristics of a good friend are, and then to glue them on each wagon. I chose train because train takes you to destination, and destination was to make friendship, to be a good friend and have friends. So the conclusion was that the best way of having a good friend is by being one. The next workshop was dedicated to a friendly communication, which is really a heart-to-heart communication. They were given an exercise to remember, imagine harsh words they don't want to hear and kind words that everyone would like to hear, and see how it affects them physically, emotionally, mentally. The story used illustrated that harsh words can have a lasting impact. So we should be careful with them and learn to develop self-discipline, kindness, empathy, and talk sweetly. When I asked them, where can you find hurtful messages mostly nowadays, I got prompt answer, on the smartphones. And where do kind words come from? From the heart. I use our dear Elena's invention, a heart phone, and they exercise, communicating from their heart, saying kind words to each other and feeling the effect. That was real epiphany for them, I can tell you. So which is smarter, a smartphone or a heart phone? That was one of the questions. The answer is obvious, as our slogan became, I'm smart because I know I have a heart. In the next one, excuse me. In the next one, the importance of the heart was given even more. The story used focused on the importance of connecting and uniting, rather than dividing and separating. The values of love, joy, unity, understanding, self-discipline, gratitude, selflessness were brought to light. And in the next workshop, they were given an exercise in which they had to decide to give in to peer pressure and become a bully, or to listen to their hearts and hunt for their inner treasures, values of discrimination, right conduct, empathy, courage, non-violence. In the meantime, we started calling these human values our superpowers. So after strengthening them with the awareness that their heart is their source of strength, wisdom, knowledge, self-confidence, and that the values are their superpowers, we moved on to defining what bullying is and how to respond it. Stressing especially how important is the role of onlookers who should report such cases and try to rectify the consequences of bullying. A simple act of kindness and care can do wonders. Just the question, are you okay, is magic. Here we brought to surface the values of responsibility, courage again, caring, compassion. In the next 3 workshops, the children were able to decide to be angry or to develop the values of self-control, gratitude, love, which makes them happy and cooperative. And then to make them, if they still get angry and fight, to make amends by taking part in the peace-stable activity, bringing forth the values of love, forgiveness, understanding, tolerance, respect, and self-respect. Or, in the next workshop, to become a real superhero. And superhero is the one who practices human values in his or her everyday life and has a good character. In this one, I chose so-called celebrity, Baby Lasagna, because he is someone they can relate to, they feel close to, because he had just been at the Eurosong and the contest, and he was the second one. But what they and we all admire to him is his character. Not song itself and sing itself, though it is good as well, but his character. He's modest, he respects his family, he's humble, he very pious, loves animals, and very honest. And all his friends say that he has an excellent character and he's a wonderful friend. So they can relate to him. In each workshop, they had a chance to talk to each other, which is very valuable and important, to connect, to see that they all have the need of being accepted and have a sense of belonging. And that school life is much easier, more interesting and fun if they are friendly to each other. The impact of this series of 9 workshops was truly heartwarming. I actually went to school to do the workshop in one class, but the children talked about them and the teacher was delighted. So other classes wanted them too. So I covered 6 classes and around 120 students of different ages from 7 to 13 with the same workshops, but adjusted vocabulary to their age. I did over 30 of them. And here's what they wrote in the end, answering to the question, what have you learned about yourself? I will not read all of them, just some of them. I learned that I have to feed the good wolf. I learned to be less aggressive. I felt less nervous, less angry, and felt calmer. I learned to be less selfish, not to lie. I learned to have love in my heart, respect for elders, apologize when you fight. I learned that I have to respect my friends, forgive, to be myself, and to cooperate. I learned all human superpowers, and that the most important is to be yourself. And this is the sweetest one. It helped me because my mom is now less angry at me. So I would like to thank you. It was a pleasure to do these workshops with kids at school. Thank you, Azra. And thank you for listening to this. Now, you are going to hear our dear Elena, who is a very creative lady. Please, Elena.
Thank you, Esma. Thank you very much. I'm going to now continue with this part of the session by sharing with you some experiences, simple experiences in extracurricular free time contexts in what is considered non-formal and informal education. For many years, I had been wondering how I could apply the knowledge of Satya Sai Educare with children from 7 to 12 years old in the public education system. And finally, I have found a practical way in the school where I collaborate as a volunteer in the field of how to live together and well-being. My starting point is to know that the human values, love, truth, righteousness, peace, and nonviolence are latent within all human beings. So they do not have to be taught, but discovered and translated into actions. And another principle that I follow is the knowledge of love is the undercurrent of all the values. So I set out with the aim of creating an environment and culture of love at any time in school life and see what would happen in the behavior of boys and girls of these ages. I noticed that during the recess after lunch, the boys and girls had an hour for free play. And I asked for permission to the director of the school to be with them in the playground. As I wanted to be near a child who had recently come to this school from a distant country and had some integration difficulties. I had the idea to invite the children who wanted to join me to make some small figures and ornaments with self-drying modeling clay on a small table in the playground. From this moment on, I found happily that a spontaneous workshop was held almost daily for more than 4 weeks. And I call this workshop the Table of Goodness and Beauty. About 8 to 10 children participated daily in this activity. They were not always the same children. Sometimes there was a group of 8, then one of them finished their work and went away, and then another came in. So it was like very free. They adjusted to this workshop freely because it was not a pre-programmed, pre-planned workshop. It was something spontaneous that came to life. So I found out many things from this. From this proposal of manual creation, I observed the blossoming of the qualities of the boys and girls. And then I remembered another message of the program of Satya Sai Education in Human Values, which says, we do not teach subjects, we teach children. So the soft modeling clay was our excuse to meet, share, learn to live together and solve problems of coexistence by putting into practice the values of patience, tolerance, respect, help each other, cooperation, concentration, gratitude, good manners, etc. In order to make the pieces, we needed small recipients with water, wooden tools, plastic cups to put the paint in, brushes and containers to put them in, newspapers to cover the table, etc. So all these materials complied with the 3 R's, that means reuse, reduce, and recycle. In this way, we were taking care of the environment, and we had plenty of elements for our workshop. There was a great abundance of tools and things like that, because all of them came from recycled material. Then the children wanted to give the small pieces to someone in their families. So I created some special bags for them to take home as a gift, small little bags that they loved. Sometimes I helped some children to develop their communication skills to solve their conflicts with each other with the help of finger puppets. Because sometimes they got very irritable with the people next to them, because the table was so small that we had to be able to share this space very friendly and harmoniously. Sometimes I also stopped a little bit and asked them to breathe deeply 3 times while I played some notes in the flute. I asked them to breathe deeply and look at the sky and look back, and so to calm down a little bit. So I used the technique of silent sitting for a while also, and to be very connected with their breathing. Then what I did is to give names to all the qualities that help us to live together in this space while we made our creations. And then I prepared a heart-shaped box with the word superpowers on the lid, which contained pieces of cardboard with names of the practical aspects of the values. I have a lot of words, more and more, and some children even wanted to help me. Apart from these children who made the little figures, other children came at other moments and helped me to write the names of the value aspects on the cards. So everyone was happy to be in this environment because they felt accepted, they felt welcome, and we always had something to do in this table. All the time we spent together during doing this has made us connect in a very pleasant way. There is now a relationship of trust and respect. We made a heart-to-heart connection, and some of these qualities, some of these children attend a weekly 2-hour extracurricular workshop this year, which I give to these children for 3 years now, as a non-formal education extracurricular practice. So I have found out that this was working very good in the school system, the public school system. But I also want to share a little bit about the implementation of the program of SSEHV education in human values as a practice which is included in the regular activities of the SSEHV international education worldwide. In Greece, SSEHV education in human values summer camps take place in Cyprema once a year. In these camps, the children, teachers, and families are immersed in the SSEHV education in human values program for several days. Last summer, I also participated in these camps, and my main aim was to focus on how to create this environment and culture of love at any moment of the camp, and found out again that by creating an environment and culture of love, the children feel very well and they express and practice the inherent values and show their special talents very openly. It's like they blossoming. It's a real blossoming of their inner spiritual heart. And they really show very good, amazing things that they give back after we give them these possibilities and these environments. So I have a experience as a conclusion that when we direct the energy of love consciously to notice everything we are doing, it results in a willingness to collaborate, to communicate heart to heart, to create special moments, to care for people and the environment. We become creators. We cultivate the well-being of the group. The participants connect with their creativity, and the 5 human values are manifested with their practical aspects. The children feel valuable. Their well-being, self-confidence, and self-esteem increase. And I always remember the teacher should be an ocean of love for their student. And now I would like to invite our dear Vassiliki, who will give very inspiring examples of the implementation of SSEHV in the summer camps organized by the SSEHV International Organization in Greece every summer. Please, Vassiliki, I welcome you, and I'm looking forward to listening to your inspiring examples. Thank you.
I thank you, dear Elena. And I would like to greet our participants and wish you a wonderful day today. I will start with a little history and say that in the year 1983, an international conference for Western teachers on education in human values took place in Prasanthi Nilayam. And I happened to attend that. Then Satya Sai gave us the blessings and the urge to teach human values as the main dharma in this life for us. From that time on, we were working, studying, practicing and teaching small groups of children and adults. In the year 2000, George and myself started a Saturday school in a small country house in a suburb of Athens. As you can see in this picture, we taught human values using the direct approach. That is, we had stories, discussions, group activities, and singing, George playing his guitar always. But, of course, at the beginning of this lesson, we had to do silent sitting or meditation in the light. You can see the candle in the middle of the little circle, so that the children could have deep breaths, breathe in and out, relax, go inside, and have better concentration. At the end of the academic year, in July, we organized summer camps in Cyprema, as Elena mentioned before. For about 10 days, the children would enjoy vegetarian food, gymnastics, swimming in the sea, and human values classes based on the subject of each summer camp. For example, in the summer camp of the year 2016, as you see here, we studied the life of Gandhi, and the motto was, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world," his words. Playing a role in the theater may engrave important messages in the heart of the actors after rehearsing for several days. And as you can see here, we had always a theater play based on the subject of our camp at the end of the summer camp, where the children helped in preparing their costumes, assisted by one or two teachers, and they presented it in front of their parents and friends. So before we could see, yes, thank you. We could see Gandhi seated and reading or writing while he was traveling in a boat, going from South Africa to India. We can also see his mother, and again below, Gandhi talking to a group of people. The next photo shows the end of the theatrical play, where the actors, students, have a bow to their audience and also sing human values songs. Another year, we showed and we studied the life and work of Albert Schweitzer in the year 2017. Albert Schweitzer was a German citizen, a physician, who did very important work and established hospitals in Africa. And in the year 1952, he won the Nobel Prize for Peace, and he used the money he received from that to establish a hospital for lepers in the small country of Gabon, near Congo. In the year 2018, we studied the life and teachings of Sri Sathya Sai Baba. As you can see here in the photo, his mother is sitting in a red sari reading a book. And also we can see other members, other actors. In the final greeting of the children, we had again songs of human values and that were accompanied by piano and guitar. Next, please. Can we have next slide? In the summer of the year 2020, we studied the life and work of Mother Teresa. Here you can see in the next photo the children dressed in nuns working and as helpers of Mother Sai. We see the final bow also of the children to their audience in the next photo, where again we sing human value songs, and the parents were really enthusiastic about what they saw their children singing and acting. Finally, I have used the indirect approach of teaching human values in the American College of Greece, where I have been working, and I was teaching a course called Ethical Action in Business. In this course, of course, we had textbooks for ethics, and between the chapters of the textbooks, I would use quotes of a very wise sage, a great person of our times, I mean Sathya Sai Baba, like expressions like money comes and goes, morality comes and grows. Also, I would write on the blackboard words and use the acronyms, like the word watch. You know, you've seen it before. Watch for each letter. Watch your words, watch your actions, watch your thoughts, watch your character, watch your heart. Or another acronym, the ABC of life, always be careful. Or the ABCD, avoid bad company, dear. And as we understand, the students enjoyed and easily remembered these. So, thank you. That was my short presentation. And now I would like to invite our dear Suzanne to impress us with her work in the values. Dear Suzanne, please come.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear Vassiliki. It's always so lovely to see the work you've been carrying out for so many years in Greece. Thank you. So hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm here to share with you another small portion of application of human values in everyday life. And in my case, I will be happy to share. I'm very honored to share with you this wonderful project, which is Vivi Valori Exhibition, a public exhibition, which was aimed at promoting human values through the arts. Now, before I talk to you about the project, I'd just like to call your attention very quickly to the image on this introductory slide, which is a piece of art made by an 11-year student. And I chose it because it exemplifies Sathya Sai education human values. We see a hand that is actually planting a seed and another figure behind that is giving water to these little seeds. and the sun that is helping the seeds blossom. So this is really the process that we are going through and helping children to go through. So this exhibition was the fruit of a school project, which was carried out during the years 2022, 2023, and it was extended into 2024. And 530 students actually took part in this process, and which was coordinated by 2 public school teachers. One was a visual arts teacher and the other a special school teacher. And they worked together with their colleagues, 13 colleagues. So they tried to bring in the values because, of course, the aim of this school project was to create a process for the students during the years to help them understand the importance of human values and how they are inherent and how we need to nourish them to build a good character. So they tried to bring all this into different subjects at school. And all this was done with the collaboration also of myself, I have to say, of the Art and Values Open Space, which is a space that my husband and I have here in Ticino and have been working with, dedicating it to exhibitions and workshops dedicated to human values since 2016. So to build this process for the school, together with the teachers, we selected a key question to use with the students, a key practice. And then we will see shortly also a key story. So the key question was very simple. What is the difference between material values and human values? This, of course, is essential. They need to understand that material values is something like a watch or a trendy pair of tennis shoes. Human values lie within us and are invisible, and we need to bring them out. We need to manifest them, and we need to do this through our practice. So the key practice was, again, very simple. Pick a value. We wanted to help the children get into the habit of regularly picking a value, which of course means calling forth the value from within us, reflecting on its meaning, and improving our practice. As you see by the picture, during the exhibition, we also had a beautiful basket of values that all the visitors were invited to pick from. Then we had also a key story. And this takes us back to Esma's beautiful story, which she related so well to us. This story of the 2 wolves was so important in this process because the majority of students that took part in this project were adolescents, 11 to 14 years of age. So it was really important for them to explore and go within and grasp the meaning, this powerful meaning of how every individual has within him or herself these 2 aspects of the good wolf and the bad wolf, and how we need to feed these inherent qualities, this good wolf in us, to make it stronger and also neutralize the effects or transform the effects of our, let's call them, weaknesses and bad tendencies. So this was a really, really beautiful process. And it went on with, it was, let's say, divided in individual work, group work, and class work. So you see, for example, on the left of this slide, we have a beautiful tree. It was actually a huge tree that occupied a whole wall, dedicated to the family, the value of the family. And this was a class project. So the whole class participated in making this beautiful image. But of course, it was also an individual process. And during the year, the students reflected on the values most important for them, and to bring them forth also in their artwork, because the end goal, the end aim of this process was to have the exhibition. They all also chose a value dear to their hearts. And sometimes they divided into subgroups. So a class maybe had groups of 5 students, 6 students, 4 students working together. And sometimes, as you see, maybe in this image at the end of the room, we can see many individual images that have actually been brought together to make like one big poster. So they also did something really fascinating. They wanted to really understand, and this was, of course, the teacher's also idea, the importance of embodying the values, how we need to really integrate the values in our lives by embedding them in our personality and, as we know, building our character. So they took this to heart. I mean, they translated, together with the teachers, this concept of embodying the human values, of becoming the human values, by creating a really, really incredible video. If you look carefully on the right, you can see the word calm, which is calm, calmness in English, and they are actually building this word with their bodies. So they made a video, and in the video they have 24, 30, 40 value words, which are all composed with their own bodies, to really stress this concept of how we need to become the values, embody the values. On the left, of course, you see an image of a class that came to visit the exhibition. And then, as I said, the majority of students that took part in this exhibition and the whole process were adolescents. However, one school, one class from the elementary school also participated, and one class of the first lyceum. And in this slide, we see the work of the first lyceum, and this was very, very interesting because they reflected on human values, and they came to the conclusion that yes, human values are inherent, but we do not see them very much in our society. So they decided to make this mobile where they actually suspend values, and they called it suspended values. Now, during the exhibition and during the year, of course, because the exhibition reflects what happened during the year in the class, at the school, we had 3 different activities which became interactive stations for the people who came to visit the exhibition. One was this character flower, that people could also sit down during the exhibition and create their own. And I have to say, these are the flowers that were made by the adolescents, and though it is an activity designed for very small children, they really, really love this, and they all wrote a value behind their character flower. And then we had the character compass, which is another, let's say, paper activity designed for smaller children, but though this can be used also with adults because the concept is very deep. And very interestingly, the teacher of visual arts translated this into 3 dimensions. So you see on the right, they are actually working, playing this game. And then we had the character staircase, and here too, the concept of this activity was translated into 3 dimensions, and they actually made all kinds of bricks. Each brick was a value, and they invited the visitors, and they did this during the school year, to select the bricks that would take them to their goal on the top of the staircase, and each brick was a value they needed as they walked along. So, as we said, this was a whole process that took place during 2022, 2023, but was extended also in 2024. And this happened because the exhibition was also put on display in another location. And for this purpose, they continued the work, and they added more beautiful artwork. This is one installation dedicated to sustainability. And the next one that you will see was very, very powerful. Again, it is a beautiful installation called Let's Bring Light to the World. Of course, how do we bring light to the world if not by practicing human values? So this installation is showing us all these lanterns, and each lantern bears a human value that the student wrote on the lantern, and the lantern had some LED lights inside. And the night of the opening of this exhibition, they turned on the lights, and it was really super special. So the final slide is to stress, again, the beautiful artwork of these students. And the most important thing is that this process really touched their hearts and brought out, I would like to say, the inner poet As Satyasai says many times, don't be computers, be composers. So this was really a very creative process that had many, many steps you can understand connected to it, because it lasted really a whole school year and even more. And it helped the children reflect on the human values and also bring them to life and also express their feelings on these values. And this last beautiful image is called Share Values and Live in Color. And if you look at the corners of this image, there are two figures that are blowing hearts, and the hearts represent the values. And this is so significant because if you look at, there are many figures that are gray, and where the values reach, where the hearts touch these people, they turn to color. So human values adds color and beauty and goodness and joy to the lives of people, of all people. And this particular piece of artwork was made by a class of 11-year-old students. So thank you very much for your attention. It was a joy for me to go through these slides again with you.
Thank you very much, dear Suzanne. It was so inspiring to hear you, as it was to hear Vassiliki, Esma, Elena. Dear participants, we hope that you enjoyed this first part of the session on the practical implementation of SSEHV and how we can do it in so many colorful, bright, and intuitive ways. So we do have a few minutes, a couple of minutes, 4 minutes for any question. If any participant would like to ask any question, you can do it by writing it in the chat box. Otherwise, as always, we're happy to respond to any questions via our email. But if any participant would like to share or ask any question right now, please feel free to write it in the chat box. But yeah, it was such a joy to share this session with wonderful women, again, going back to International Women's Day, and to see the impact of Satyasai education in human values. So I'm just going to open my chat box to see in case we have any question, my dears. We had, okay, there's a question, but it reached to me privately. One participant asked, what is the age group of your classes at school? Actually, at the school I work at, I have the fortune of being the human values teacher from the 1-year-old children all the way up to the 17-year-old. So I teach every single one of them, from the 1-year-olds all the way up to the 17-year-olds. And I have, with the younger one, it's just like a 15-minute lesson where we sing some songs and a little puppet story or something like that. And the older ones, you know, from 5 onwards, it's a 50-minute lesson that I have with them. So yes, it's so beautiful to see how values can be applied in so many different contexts. So we see some messages with rainbows and hearts and hands of gratitude. So I think this is the feeling we can end this first part with, dear participants. And like I said, if anyone would like to ask any question, you can also feel free to do so via the email channel, because sometimes the questions come a little later. But thank you very much, and we look forward to the second part of today's session as well, which we will come back at, it's 10:58 now here, Central European time, so we will come back in 5 minutes at 11:03. So enjoy the short break, and we will come back for our interactive workshop and a very important practice too.
I think we have a question.
Oh.
From the chat, I can see from Ariel.
Yes, Mariel has now written a question. How is your experiences applying human values for adults? So who would like to answer this question briefly? Vassiliki, please go ahead, Vassiliki, if you'd like to answer this question. How is your experiences applying human values for adults? Thank you for the question, Mariel.
Yes. We have organized, not we actually, the institutes, first the SSE Institute, the European Satyasai Education Institute, and then later the ISSE, our Institute of Southern Europe, where we have seminars for adults, for teachers, parents, and anyone who would be interested. So we have been traveling since the year 1990 to many countries in Europe, West and Eastern Europe, offering these seminars. And actually, I would like to say that out of these seminars and programs and certificates that those who would like to have had certificates from the program, course 1, course 2, course 3, emerged some very fine teacher trainers, of which appear in front of you also in this coordinating team of our ISSE Institute. And of course, other trainers in the European SSE Institute. So that is how we have been doing. We have been training adults. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Vassiliki. And this actually is a great reminder for our participants that course 1 of the SSEHV program is not only for educators, it's for any adult who is interested in applying the human values, the practical teachings of Satya Sai in their personal lives too. So yes, the work the institutes do is truly heartwarming. So thank you for sharing that. And it was great that Vassiliki did it. She's actually, Vassiliki is the first in our team. She is the most senior, actually. So we have a beautiful myriad of different educators who we always learn from. So thank you very much, everyone. And now, yes, we will be taking a short break. We will come back at 11:06. So we have a 5-minute break. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you very shortly.
Welcome back to the second part of this engaging session of the implementation of Satya Sai education in human values in every context. And now I am going to introduce this second part by inviting Varsha, who is going to guide us in a very important technique of the program, which is meditation on the light. Welcome, Varsha.
Good morning, dear Elena. Thank you so much for a warm and loving welcome introduction. I must say that today's session, the short, inspiring, motivating presentations have been so wonderful. Really, the team and you have done a fantastic job all over. So thank you for that. And it is also so encouraging and motivating to see that the teachings of Satya Sai are universal and effective in every field and every situation in our lives. So really, it is very heartwarming to know this. Dear friends, it is a real honor for me today to present the most important technique recommended by Satya Sai in the program of SSEHV. It is the light meditation. And I have been using this technique in my various classes with children, adults, and even in my personal life. And I find, I can definitely say that it has helped me personally to be more calm and relaxed in challenging times. It kind of broadens the mind and connects me to my intuition, and guides me in the right direction. Even with the people who practice this technique, the light meditation, they have also commented to me that it is also for them very beneficial. It helps them to relax, calm down, and focus, concentrate. So really, I cannot stress enough the importance of this wonderful technique that Satya Sai Baba has given to us. I will now invite dear Cinzia to start the music to accompany the guided light meditation. Let us sit comfortably with our head, neck, shoulders relaxed. Let us begin to take a few deep breaths. Natural, deep, and rhythmic. Let us inhale and exhale, releasing all the stress in the body. Let us inhale again to release all the difficult emotions we may be dealing with. And once more, to let go of all the fears. Now imagine a very bright and radiant flame in front of the eyes at eye level. Gaze at this radiant flame for a moment with the eyes half open. And now gently close your eyes and visualize this flame in the center of your spiritual heart. And just like a lotus bud, when it feels the warmth of the sun, our spiritual heart feels the warmth of the light and opens one petal after another, revealing an even brighter and radiant light within. This light is pure energy, and it helps us in every situation in life. Let us now spread the light to all the parts of the body. Let us expand it to the hands. Our hands are filled with the pure light. Feel the warmth of the light in the hands. And let us silently affirm, may these hands always help, never hurt. Let us now expand the light from the spiritual heart down to the feet. And the feet are filled with the pure light. Feel the warmth of the light in the feet. And again, let us silently affirm, may these feet be guided to good places and to good company. Let us now radiate the light from our spiritual heart upwards, reaching the mouth. And the mouth is filled with the pure energy. And once more, we silently affirm that we may always speak kindly, gently, and softly. Always speak the truth and only what is necessary and useful. Let us now radiate the light to the ears. And the ears are filled with the pure light. And we once more silently affirm that may these ears listen with tolerance and patience. Let's now radiate the light to the eyes. And the eyes are filled with the pure, radiant energy. And again, we silently affirm that we may see the good in everyone and everything. And now finally, let us radiate the light to the head, and our mind and thoughts are filled with the pure energy. And we silently affirm again, darkness cannot exist in the presence of light. Now observe the whole body is illuminated. We are bathed in this pure, radiant energy. We are glowing. Feel the radiance. Let us now radiate the light outwards in wider and wider circles, embracing our family members, friends, neighbors, the ill, the needy, the elderly, the suffering, even to those people with whom we have difficult relationships with. The circle of light becomes more and more wider as it embraces more and more people. It envelopes the whole city, the country, the whole world. It enfolds all the living beings and non-living, the plants, the forests, the animals, the mountains, the sky, the moon, the stars, the sun, the whole universe. It stretches out to infinity. Let us remind ourselves, I am in the light. The light is in me. I am the light. And this light permeates everyone and everything. As the light becomes more and more intense, everything else just fades away. There is only one light. Let us now concentrate and contemplate on the light and the breath. Let us dive deeper within with each breath. Listen to the silence within. Let us enjoy this state of being immersed in the light and silence for some time. And now gently bring the light back down to the spiritual heart and know that it is always there within to guide, protect, and inspire you. And knowing this fills you with gratitude. And now, whenever you're ready, very gently begin to move the fingertips. Join your palms together, rubbing them. Cup your eyes and allow the energy generated in between the palms to infuse new awareness through the eyes. And very gently uncover the eyes, flutter open the eyes, stretch and smile.
Thank you so much, dear Varsha. It has really been very immersive experience in the light. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for this beautiful guidance and your expertise in this matter, in this field of meditation on the light. Thank you so much, Varsha. You've done it beautifully. And now we are back here to continue with the interactive workshop. So we will, as usual, we will have these breakout rooms. We will have 4 breakout rooms, 4 rooms with to discuss on these 2 questions that we have prepared for this session of today. The workshop questions are these. First, what practical teachings of the SSEHV Education in Human Values program have you integrated in your personal lives over the past months since we started the program? Second question, can you share ways in which you convey the message of human values formally and informally, or formally or informally, to your close surroundings? These 2 questions are also going to be posted on the chat box. And then after the discussion, when we have about 15 or 20 minutes, we will come back and share our discoveries. We will make a summary. So we will have to choose, as usual, a spokesperson to give the summary of every group in no more than 2 minutes. So now we will be distributed now. Thank you. So now, Raksha, I'm going to invite Raksha to continue.
Thank you, Elena, and thank you everyone who have shared your valuable contributions throughout the workshop. And like we said at the beginning, this program is, its focus is on practice. So it's lovely to hear how so many different things have been shared about how SSEHV is being applied in your own lives and surroundings. And a lot of you mentioned the value of patience, and actually in the school, the value for the month in March is patience. So that resonated a lot with me. And I would just like to invite any of the presenters, if you would like to share any concluding remarks, please go ahead for a few seconds. If you'd like to just share some final words, maybe Esma, would you like to say something?
In this troublesome world, it is very important that we really live values and share values whenever possible, actually all the time. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Esma. Elena, would you like to add any words?
Yes, I would like to say that it's very simple to start with something, and then there are little seeds that one seed can grow into a big tree and give a lot of fruit. So everything we do is important.
Thank you, Elena. Dear Vassiliki, we would like to hear from you too.
Yes, dear Raksha, I would like to stress the importance to start with early, to teach children, because it is such a precious thing to show them, to be an example and teach them practical human values. Not to forget that they are the future of our cosmos. And let's start even with the one child. It is worthwhile. Thank you.
Thank you, Vassiliki. George, you would like to add something too? Please go ahead.
Yes, I would like to express my gratitude for these beautiful presentations. Were so nicely blended, and they show the different ways that the human values can be applied, and to connect this with what Raksha mentioned in the beginning, in the introduction, that today is the International Women's Day. And I think this was the best way to celebrate this day, to have 5 bright ladies, I would say, to present these beautiful examples, how we have to live our lives. And I will compare this with it can be compared with the 5 human values. Like we had the beautiful, fragrant bouquet of 5 roses. And Swami has a very nice, I would like to mention a nice quotation of Satya Sai Baba, which often we repeat: make your life a rose that will speak silently in the fragrance of love. And today it was not only silently, it was also with sharing beautiful experience. So thank you very much for this great celebration of this day.
Thank you for your kind words of appreciation, dear George, and we are very happy to have inspiring men in our team too. So yes, thank you all very much. And I would just like to remind all our participants, all our friends, that session 9 of online course 1, module 1 will take place in 2 weeks on the 22nd of March. And it's a very touching session because the topic we will dedicate it to the life, teachings and work of the founder of SSEHV. So we will be talking about Satya Sai. And yes, like I said, I'm sure, we talk about this program, but the source of inspiration is always Satya Sai's universal teachings. So we look forward to that session too. And as always, music is the language of the heart. And when we spoke about the direct method, we spoke about that one of the techniques is group singing. So today's session, we will end it with, we will share a video. This is actually a video of a human values concert that we gave at school a few years ago, and one of the songs that we sang was a song from a project we called Lassa Laval Serval, and this song is called I Will Create, and it's a song that's very meaningful actually and special because in 2007 a group of young adults, we had the chance to perform the song in front of Satya Sai in Prashanti Nilayam, and he made us sing it 3 times. We prepared 9 different songs, but when he heard the first one, he stopped the second, he stopped the third, and he asked us to sing this song 3 times. So it's quite meaningful. The words are beautiful, and we will now see a video with the children. They are 7 to 8-year-olds singing this song in one of the Human Values concerts we gave in 2017. So we hope you enjoy it, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon again in 2 weeks. Until then, be happy, and let's make our human values shine brighter and brighter day by day as we become more and more aware of them and practice them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Dear parents, family and friends, welcome to the Year 3 concert. We have been practicing some beautiful songs that we would like to share with you. The first song we would like to sing is called I Will Create. It's about giving the best of ourselves and never give up. Hope you enjoy it.